Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited to create a new video again. So in case you're new, my name is Lucy the Light, and welcome to the big family where we learn about sign language and how to deal with the persons with disability. In the previous video, we learned about letters of alphabet from A to Z, and today I just want to let you know more about sign language, the basic of sign language, what is sign language, and how is it going to help you as an individual if you pursue it. So basically, I will go ahead and tell you what is sign language. So sign language, there are very many people who have tried to define it, and it's actually a language that uses manual symbols to represent ideas and concepts. And we should know that each word in English is equated to one word in Kenya Sign Language. So basically, this is a language that you use symbols. For instance, when you are talking about the word hello, you sign it like this, hello. Now, hello is one word in English, but when you put it into sign language, it is hello. I hope we are together. Then another thing that you need to know about sign language is that it is a language that is used by deaf people across the world to communicate. As you all know, most of the deaf people, they do not have speech, and they do not hear, they do not perceive sound. And for that reason, it becomes a bit difficult for them to communicate. And that is why they use manual symbols. That is why they use signs to communicate. So another thing that you also need to know is that there is variety of sign language. Different countries have their own sign language, though to some extent some may be related. For instance, when you are in Kenya, you use Kenyan Sign Language. But when you go to Uganda, you use a Ugandan Sign Language. When you go to Britain, you use a British Sign Language. When you go to America, you use American Sign Language. And it continues. And you realize that there is a variety of signs to mean that the signs in this case are not standard. Whatever you use here in Kenya is different from what you use in America or in British or in Japan. So basically, there's that variety. That is why you can't learn the sign language for just a single country and then you say that you're competent in all the countries. But one thing you need to understand is that Kenya, the initiator of sign language in Kenya was a student at Gallaudet in America, and he borrowed a lot of signs uh, for the Kenya Sign Language from America. So you realize, for instance, the letters of alphabet in Kenyan Sign Language, they're the same with the letters of alphabet in America. Also, another thing that you need to understand very well is that some of the signs in Kenya Sign Language are the same exactly with American Sign Language. For instance, when you want to tell somebody hi in Kenya Sign Language, you just say hi. Similarly, when you go to America and you want to say hi, you just say hi. So you realize that the sign language structure for the Kenyan sign and the structure for American Sign Language, they're the same. And most of the words, again, they are the same. So I guess I have answered this question for many of you who are wondering, suppose I learn Kenyan Sign Language, is there importance of me learning a different sign language here? Yeah, that is why the reason being that when you learn sign language, you'll be able to communicate with the deaf people within Kenya. But when you travel maybe you go to Uganda, or maybe South Africa, or maybe Britain, you have to learn a different signs. I hope you're together, guys. So another thing that I intend to cover in this video today is what are reasons for learning sign language? What is the importance of learning sign language? What are the benefits that you get after learning sign language? And one of them is that it will help you to communicate with the deaf. As you all know, most of the deaf people within different countries, they are isolated in a way. They do not know what is actually happening in our day-to-day activities, especially for those who have a language barrier, who cannot understand English well and read magazines. And for that reason, if you acquire the sign language, you will be able to communicate with them. Remember last time I told you guys that we are potential candidate of disability as long as we are alive. And the more we show love to the people who are already in that situation, it will really makes sense. It really makes a lot of difference in their life and they will feel loved. So the second reason as to why you should acquire sign language, it is for you to get more skills in signing. Most of us realize that sign language is so interesting, and the more you learn more about them, the better for you. You're going to be competent in various signs because, as I told you earlier, each word in English is equated to one sign. So the more you're fluent in English or in any mother tongue language, the more you're also going to learn more and more skills on how to express yourself using sign language. The third reason as to why you should learn sign language is that it forms a bridge for career development. Just like any other subject, there are career opportunities that come in when you acquire the sign language. For instance, you can be a sign language interpreter, somebody who will be transcribing what has been spoken into sign language, and of course, you earn from it. Another another a career that you can do after acquiring sign language is that you can be a specialist teacher who is teaching the deaf people. And again, it is an added advantage to you. Other careers that you can do after you acquire sign language are we have speech and language therapy, occupational therapy, and we also have audiology. So basically, there are a lot of careers that you can pursue if you acquire sign language. And the next reason as to why you should learn sign language is that it promotes inclusion and the cultural awareness. Most of us, we do not really know what is the culture for the deaf people. Some of us would think that they love staying alone, which is not always the case. The reason as to why they isolate themselves is because they do not have someone to communicate to interact with, to express their ideas to. And upon you acquiring these signs, you understand the culture for these people and what they really love most. On this very same thing, we will promote inclusion. How? As I told you earlier, most of the deaf people, they feel isolated. They live in their own world. They basically do not know what is happening in the day-to-day activities because most of them, again, they do not know how to communicate using other languages. So they end up being left behind in various sections. But once you learn sign language, you'll be able to interact with them. You're going to help them know what is happening in the day-to-day activities, and I'm pretty sure they feel or they will feel loved and included in the wider society. The next reason as to why you should study sign language is that it leads to motor development. As you all know, signing it involves movement of your arms, or rather hands, and the more you keep on moving your hands, the more you become more flexible, and your motor will definitely develop, and you will hardly experience challenges related to your muscles. The last reason as to why you should learn sign language is that it helps you develop a strong appreciation for the deaf. As I told you earlier, if you do not know deaf, it becomes difficult for you to associate with them. Some of us, we really hate them for no apparent reason. And when you acquire signs, you get to understand them better, and you realize that deaf people are really lively people, and they're so honest in whatever they do, and they're generally happy throughout. So basically those are the benefits for learning sign language. I hope those who are like wondering why should I do sign language, why should I acquire skills on that, your question is answered. So basically, if you love my content, give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe so that whenever I post a new video, you shall be aware. Bye bye. Meet in the next video.